Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to NBC NightSide. I'm Hillary Lane. Coming up, what the government is doing to curb Medicare fraud. It's a problem that's costing taxpayers billions. But first, a look at this morning's headlines. Hurricane Danny has already struck the U.S. coastline once and is expected to hit again later today. Hurricane warnings have been posted this morning from Apalachicola, Florida to Gulfport, Mississippi. Although Danny is considered a minimal hurricane, there's still power to its punch. Torrential rain and winds up to 75 miles per hour ripped through the Gulf Coast Friday. Danny first hit land early in the day in Louisiana between Grand Isle and the mouth of the Mississippi River. The FBI has new information in its manhunt for alleged serial killer Andrew Philip Cunanan. Detectives believe Cunanan has been hiding out at Miami's Normandy Plaza Hotel for up to 2 months. They spent Friday combing the hotel for evidence. Cunanan is wanted in at least 4 killings, including the fatal shooting of fashion designer Gianni Versace. On Friday, Versace's family spread his ashes near his lakeside villa in Como, Italy. The crew aboard the Russian space station Mir has repaired the latest problem. The spacecraft lost power after someone pulled a vital plug on Thursday. Russia's mission control blamed the crisis on human error, but the problem caused a third delay in a vital repair mission aboard Mir. Repairs now may have to wait until a new crew arrives next month. The hot, dry weather has fueled a new set of wildfires, these in Claremont, California. They charred hundreds of acres and threatened homes on Friday. The fire started around 3 o'clock in the afternoon and spread quickly because of 10 to 12 mile-an-hour winds. Firefighters and planes dropping water fought back the flames. Officials don't know what started the fire. The White House has just about every luxury item you could possibly imagine. But NBC News has learned that a hot tub was recently added on the South Lawn near the swimming pool. Friends of President Clinton reportedly installed the hot tub at their own expense after the president injured his knee. Medicare fraud cost taxpayers as much as $23 billion last year. The federal government has been trying to curb abuses such as overbilling for lab tests and for home health care. One suspect is hospital manager Columbia HCA. So earlier this week, federal agents searched and removed documents from several of their facilities. CNBC's Peter Barnes has more on that story from Washington.
Government investigators tell CNBC that their search for documents and witnesses in their probe of healthcare giant Columbia HCA is over, at least for now, signaling a new phase of the case.
This phase of the investigation is now complete, and I don't expect any more search warrants, at least for a period of time.
June Gibbs Brown is among the lead investigators into Columbia HCA, along with the Justice Department, the Veterans Administration, and the IRS. She would not discuss any other details of the probe, but she did not rule out additional search warrants and subpoenas after investigators examined documents they collected from Columbia HCA facilities in 7 states last week. Investigators are reportedly looking into charges that the company overbilled Medicare for laboratory testing, home health care services, and other practices. The first indictments in the case are expected from grand juries in Florida within the next few months. The probe of Columbia HCA is part of a broad, stepped-up government crackdown on Medicare fraud that has been underway for several years. Thousands of hospitals and companies are under investigation for a variety of practices involving Medicare, the $200 billion a year health care program for the elderly that processes 800 million claims annually.
We're often billed for equipment that was never supplied, or a very cheap substitute was supplied for some expensive piece of equipment that should have been shipped. We have visits that weren't made for home health services, or weren't needed, or the patient wasn't homebound.
In an ominous sign for Columbia HCA, the government has collected some big settlements in recent years in its fraud cases from companies including SmithKline Beecham and Laboratory Corporation of America.
You're looking at fairly big bucks when it comes to settlements. In terms of indictments, sure, you could have some people spending some time in jail.
A spokeswoman for Columbia HCA had no comment on the Inspector General's remarks and said the company holds itself to the highest billing and financial standards. Peter Barnes, CNBC Business News, Washington.
Stocks are back below 8,000 after renewed inflation fears Friday spurred a wave of profit-taking. The Dow lost 130 points to close at 78.90. The Nasdaq lost almost 21. When NBC Nightside returns, how residents of Louisiana are weathering the storm. Hurricane Danny is battering the Gulf Coast. We'll have hometown news coverage of Danny's path coming up next, so stay tuned. But first, a look back at this day in rather recent history. It was 1 year ago today that Atlanta formally welcomed the world to its city at the opening ceremonies for the 1996 Summer Olympic Games.
What cheerleaders were. And here at the stadium, red, white, and blue.
Friendly welcome that is prototypically